Carey. He is a cybersecurity veteran. He's an entrepreneur. He is an AI researcher, and he's got decades of experience. He's also in the forefront of network defense, innovation. How many of you think here AI is going to kind of just clear us all out of the way? No. So that's why Marcus is here. He is, in his talk, he's kind of let us know that really AI is going to really help us leverage the things that we do. He's going to help us see how to transform, enhance, and amplify in whatever area of cybersecurity that we're in. So with further ado, here's Marcus.
Hey, how y'all doing today? Hey, thanks for having me. Every time he tells that story about how I was the first talk that he ever saw, it makes me feel really old. And so this is pretty cool. So usually I'm aspiring to be a stand-up comedian. So I keep on doing this road work and I'm ready to go, right? So I'm Marcus Carey. I'll tell you a little bit about my background. And I usually don't do slides lately for presentations, but I do have slides here, and I'm waiting for the slides to boot up. It's fine. All right, cool, sweet. And I think I have a clicker here. I'm not too good with computers, so hopefully I can figure the clicker out. So, in Tampa is kind of like a second home. I work for ReliQuest, and I've been working for ReliQuest almost the last 6 years. I'm always in Tampa, and I'm always loving Tampa, love the Tampa people. And we got people from all over the place. We got some Texans here. Hey, can Texans raise your hand, Texans? A Texan, y'all shy? I heard a lot of people. Who's from Austin? Somebody's from Austin? Yeah. Do you know me? Do we know each other? Yeah. All right, cool. So we got people from all over the place. We had barbecue yesterday at the speaker's dinner. And I always, if I'm out of state, I always scrutinize the barbecue. Funny enough, I did a talk in Canada at Sector a couple of years ago, and they took me out to a speaker dinner, and they took me to a Texas barbecue place in Canada. I was like, man, I didn't come all the way to Canada for barbecue. Give me some poutine or something. All right, so I've been fascinated by AI since I was probably like 5 years old, and I'm not kidding you. I'm going to show y'all the evidence. It's kind of like circumstantial evidence in court, but I'm going to show y'all. So in third grade, I saw War Games. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. War Games kind of like inspired me. I was like hooked then. I wanted to work with computers. So today we're going to talk about AI, and AI is two things to me. It's not just artificial intelligence, it's actual intelligence too. We have to know how we learn, how we train, how we do all these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a lot of homework today. This is going to suck. We're at a college though, so it's totally appropriate. I'm going to give y'all a lot of movies to watch. I'm going to give you a lot of books to check out because Tampa traffic is terrible. So if you have to drive, you can listen to these on audiobook. I mean, I was like, man, Tampa traffic is terrible. It took me like 30 minutes yesterday for my Uber to come, and it took me like 40 minutes to get to where I was going. And I thought Austin traffic was bad. But this is way better than Los Angeles. I'll take this over Los Angeles any day. All right, cool. So we're going to talk about actual intelligence. I'm going to game you guys up. For the last about 3 or 4, almost 4 years at ReliQuest, I've been doing AI research and development. And we have a pretty cool team there called Octo. We have a machine learning team that's been there for about 6 years now. So ReliQuest is knee deep into AI stuff. This is not going to be a ReliQuest commercial. It's going to be a Marcus Carey commercial though. All right, anybody know who this guy is? I think I heard somebody whisper his name. Yeah, it's the Shmookan guy. This is my boy Bruce Potter. Bruce Potter, I'm stealing his line, so I'm going to show his face. Every time he does a talk, he says, don't believe anything I'm about to say. That's what he said. He tells the crowd every time, don't believe anything I'm about to say. I'm going to give you resources, and you can go look stuff up yourself, and you can make your own decisions. Because I'm going to talk about bias as far as AI. Everybody's biased, and if you say you're not biased, that's a lie. All right? And before I start, I love conference people. He started ShmooCon. He's a serial entrepreneur, done really well for himself. He's a really good guy. And I just want to say shout out to all the conference organizers here. Let's give a round of applause for the people to put this on. Again, don't believe anything I'm about to say. This is pretty cool. This is all the images in this thing are, it's only one image that's not AI generated, and that's going to be an image. I'll tell you when it's not AI generated. This is totally AI generated. And I'm all in. A lot of people hate AI. Let me get a hand raise here so I can kind of feel the temperature of what's going on here. How many people love AI? That's about, I'd say that's about 40%. How many people hate AI? How many people using AI day to day at their job? That's about half. That's about half. So we got some adoption here. We got some haters. Hopefully I can adjust the haters' temperature on AI, because I'm an AI fanboy. All right, so why I got this picture up here? One of the best AI things I've heard. You've probably heard all kind of people why people hate AI and all that stuff. So one of my favorite things is, like, Amazon was able to predict if a woman was pregnant before she knew she was pregnant, based on her purchases. Like, that's crazy to me. And apparently, it kind of tipped some people off that people were pregnant, apparently, because of their ordering habits. That's crazy to me, right? That's awesome. So I'm like, wow, that's a crazy story. And you probably heard about mortgages, insurance, all this stuff. Everything is AI. So that's why a lot of people hate AI. I'm going to go over a lot of reasons why people hate AI, and I'm going to go over a lot of reasons why I love AI. And the more you know. How many people know that logo? I'm dating myself. So I totally believe the more you know. I'm 100% into knowledge. Also, one of the things that I love is this mindset and the hunger for knowledge and to just do better. So I'm all about the more you know. Again, you're going to have a lot of homework here, so hopefully you can take notes and all that stuff. This is where I'm from. This is a real photo, Marlin, Texas. I'm from a small town in Texas called Marlin, Texas. And the reason why this is funny, because this is actually a building that's still standing in my hometown, right? And so the reason why I like to talk about where I'm from, I'm the black Forrest Gump. I am a country boy. I'm the country as you can get. I grew up listening to George Strait number 8. Y'all might not know nothing about that over here in Florida. That's some real Texas country music, though. This new country, I can't stand it. It ain't country. All right, so grew up in this place. This is like the only building standing in a whole downtown little area. The town that I'm in, the town that I live in, they haven't had clean water for the last 3 weeks. Their water plant totally shut down. So I'm from a very poor area, right? But thank goodness to technology, I've actually been able to do pretty well for myself and for my family. And this is why I love technology so much. I think technology is like a really cool equalizer as far as anything. And I'm going to quote a book later. It's called The Fourth Age. I think that I encourage everybody to embrace technology. And that's what, in my life, that's what makes the difference. Right, so how did I get from Marlin to this? Life imitates art far more than it imitates life. So throughout my life, I've got all these inspirations. You're going to see some of my favorite movies. And every time I enter a different space, whether it's cybersecurity, if I would enter cybersecurity, I would just go watch all the cybersecurity hacker movies. Now, since I've been doing AI, one of the first things I did is to understand the culture the language, all the things that you hear about AI. I watched a bunch of AI movies, funny enough. Because the truth is that a lot of times they have technical consultants in these movies that are AI experts, and you're going to see a lot of the same things. I'm going to show you books 10 years old. I'm going to show you movies like over 10 years old. And some of the movies are like almost 50 years old that I'm going to show you. And many of these movies talked about the same exact things that we hear we see all the news headlines about AI this and how AI is going to take over. This has been going on for like 50 some years. And actually AI has had about 3 or 4 boom and bust periods throughout time. So it's important to go forward. We have to understand history. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the history. I'm going to talk about some really good books. And what's really cool is this should be a nice little baseline. So whatever talk you do, whatever you do professionally, whatever y'all do, I think you can put a little bit of, like down where I'm from, we like to make gumbo, right? So you can put whatever you want to in a gumbo, and you can put some AI in there, and it's going to be lit. This is what I say: life imitates art, and art imitates life, right? Because now we have. It depends on where you fall is. Like, is AI stuff, is that generating art, right? And then humans and machines and the things that we build are building each other's. Somebody got their GPS on? What's going on? See, AI is everywhere. I'm telling you. So I got my start in U.S. Navy, the world's finest Navy for all y'all. So 18 years old, I began my career doing cryptography in the Navy. And the reason why I'm talking about I'm going to tell you, like, this is how Marcus Carey was trained. We talk about how machines were trained. We talk about how AI is trained all the time. I'm going to tell you how I was trained. And everybody in here is trained in a particular way. And also, we need to learn how to learn, too. And that's one of my big things. So how I was trained. U.S. Navy, I was lucky enough to score pretty good on my ASVAB test, and I got into cryptography. So as 18, I was coming from the hood. You saw where I'm from, Friendly Corner, right? And I got assigned to work at NSA in NSA subcommands. So when I was 18 years old, I was straight out the hood, and they made me a spy, and this was pretty cool, right? I felt like the Black Jason Bourne. You're gonna listen to this talk. I'm a lot of black something. So the Navy taught me all this cool stuff. I'm all over the world spying on stuff, doing SIGINT, ELINT, all kind of different intelligence stuff from 18 years old. And I was enlisted, so I didn't have any college education at all, right? But the Navy, they would train the heck out of you, and you have to do it. I mean, if you're in the middle of the sea, you have to learn the dang job. That's what I love about the military. Ain't nobody coming to save you if you're in the military. You better figure it out. So the whole time I was I did cryptography. So I always worked for NSA the whole time. 8.5 years worked for NSA. And a couple of things. It's funny because I think when sometimes somebody say they work for a company, or I work for Facebook, or I work for Google, you kind of think something about them. And if you say, oh, I worked at NSA, right? I'm kind of like a myth buster. Not everybody working at NSA is smart. But it sounds good, though, don't it? Oh, man, he worked at NSA. So, okay. So working there, again, a great opportunity to learn, unlimited budgets. I got over $100,000 worth of technical training myself. I was in training, doing work, in training, doing work, in training, doing work. So they taught me a lot of stuff. They taught me internet networking, cybersecurity. They taught me how to code. They taught me all this stuff. So I'm pretty lucky, right? And thank goodness, one of my favorite movies is Boys in the Hood. Anybody like that movie? Yeah. But in that movie, they said the military is no place for a black man in the movie. Thank goodness I didn't listen to that advice. So eventually, I started my own company called Threat Care, and I ran that company for just 6 years. I did the whole venture capital route, and it was pretty cool because I ended up selling my company to ReliaQuest. I also wrote this book series I created this book series called Tribe of Hackers, y'all probably heard of. And then I finally landed at ReliaQuest. So I usually don't do slides, so this slide thing is kind of new to me. All right, so at ReliQuest, what's cool is I built the first breach and attack simulation platform on the market, and ReliQuest purchased my company, got the ReliQuest, and I helped integrate it into the gray matter platform at ReliQuest. But what's cool, ever since then, I've been doing nothing but R&D. I build all kind of internal products and do all kind of really cool stuff. I got the best job. Y'all ever seen Q on James Bond? That's kind of like me and my crew at work. We just build stuff all the time. So my job, Joe Partlow is our CTO there, and he says he wants my team, we want to be 2 years ahead of whatever's going on. And that's what pushes us and drives us. We're like, I legitimately believe we're at least a year or so above most people in this AI thing. So this is like chat roulette. This is like slide roulette. Y'all remember that at DEF CON? I don't know what's coming up next. This is cool. Watch this. This is kind of small for some of y'all, but this is one of our first conversations with ChatGPT. There was this movie that I was interested in that I was like, I want to find this AI movie, and it told me the AI movie. So I said, hey, I saw this movie in the 80s when I was a kid. I don't remember the name. This is what it was about. And it told me the movie name. And so the name of the movie is called Silent Running. Anybody seen that movie? 1, 2. Man, that's not a lot of people seen that movie. We're dating ourselves. I'm not going to ask any more boomer type questions. So what's interesting about that movie was about a robot, and there was a guy that was like a botanist in space. And I remember this movie vividly because I was like 3 or 4 or something when I saw it, and it was the first movie I cried at, right? I cried. The older I get, I cry at a lot of movies now, so it's not a big deal anymore. I used to man, I feel like it's one movie I remember. I can't remember the movie, but it was a character that's like, telling a tear to just crawl back up in there. But what's cool about this is man, this actually convinced me, this is crazy, man. I cannot believe it, knew this movie. Because you know how you ask friends what the movie is, and what's that movie? This actually converted me. You see, that was GTP 3.5. So that was a long time ago. So that convinced me, wow, that's pretty crazy. This is nobody knows this movie. And out of this whole crowd, this is probably, maybe a couple hundred people in here, I think 3 hands were raised. That's obscure information. And that's what's cool about this whole AI thing. That's the movie poster. I went to Amazon, downloaded it, watched it again. So this is my favorite movie of all time. How many War Games fans are here? Hey, this is definitely the GOAT hacker movie. I don't care what nobody say. This is the GOAT. So this movie made me want to do stuff. And what's cool is this movie had some AI in it, right? It had Whopper in there, and he was playing, games with Whopper. Whopper that was the first beast mode AI I ever seen in Hollywood. Again, this was an inspiration for me to get into this AI stuff, right? And I'm serious. I think we're kind of like living in this era of what, in my mind, I turned 50 a couple of months ago. About a couple of weeks ago, I turned 50, right? And I'm like, man, I've been waiting for since the 3rd grade. Shall we play a game? Quotable. So sometimes when I'm talking to chat, it depends on what agent I'm talking to. It kind of reminds me of War Games. That's the feeling I get. How many can relate to that? All right, so this guy is super dang smart. I bet you nobody knows who this guy is. What the important part is, this is Jeff Hawkins. Has anybody read this book? I'm going to give you 3 books now. This book is absolutely amazing. I want to give you my takeaway from this book, but I think you should check these books out if you can. So in this book, what Jeff Hawkins talks about is this guy is really smart. He invented the Palm Pilot. And he's also a neuroscientist. Now, some of the young kids in here are like, what the hell is a Palm Pilot? Y'all making me feel old. So Jeff Hawkins, a computer scientist, inventor, and he's also a dang neuroscientist. This book is all about how he compares the brain to AI and machine learning. It's a fascinating read because you're going to learn neuroscience in this book, how the brain works, and you're going to learn how machine learning models work as well. It's a fascinating read. And throughout the book, he's talking about, are we going to get to AGI, right? AGI is the big thing everybody's scared of, right? So are machines going to take over the world? Whatever, right? I don't believe that's going to happen. So this book right here absolutely destroyed most AI stuff. It's also a really good history of AI as well. So he goes through like 3 or 4 AI booms and busts. And why that's important to know is because I believe that history may be repeating itself in some sense right now. So this is a great read. Again, it talks about the crocodile brain and all this neuroscience stuff and how the synapses work and how your brain folds and all that stuff. It makes a brother like me from the hood feel pretty smart when I read that stuff. Excellent book. Check it out. The big takeaway from this is he doesn't believe that one machine will rule them all. He says that you can build an intelligent machine, but artificial intelligence is mostly rubbish, to use a British term. This guy, Byron Reese, this guy has this book right here. It might be the best AI book I've read in my life. This is what I'm on. This is the kind of time I'm on right now. This book is a more recent book, The Fourth Age. It's talking about how we had these different ages. We had Stone Ages. We had the Stone Age, the Iron Age, thinking like the Industrial Age, and now he's like we're in the Fourth Age because it's all about robots and all that stuff. He talks a little bit about AI, but this book even predates OpenAI and all that stuff and ChatGPT. It didn't have this stuff in there, but this stuff is so good, it's super pertinent to what we're doing today. What he talks about is mostly what most people are scared of in cybersecurity. Many people that are here, they say they're scared that AI is going to take their job. This book talks about that throughout history, technology in general has taken jobs. There used to be people on the busy streets of certain places holding torches, stuff like that. There used to didn't be a light bulb, but now there's a light bulb. So whoever was selling oil was out of luck, but then better jobs always emerge. Like there's going to be engineering jobs and stuff that emerge. And like even with AI, what we're seeing here is we're seeing a whole different field of people that are doing new pen testing. People are trying to essentially hack into systems by doing prompt engineering or prompt injection, right? Now there's a whole different field. There's prompt engineering jobs where people get paid to do prompt engineering, to create prompts. That's a job, and that job can pay 6 figures, funny enough. It's crazy. So I believe that AI is going to take the crappy jobs away, and even in where we work at, we're trying to eliminate tier 1 and tier 2, like from an incident response perspective and SOC perspective, but it's allowing our analysts to do better work. They're going to get better. They're going to be able to get into reverse engineering and better things. So we're not getting rid of anybody. They're just going to be doing cooler stuff. And as for any company, and most of y'all work for some kind of cybersecurity company, or you're your own consultant, or you're doing whatever, you're going to be able to do more work. So as a company like ReliaQuest, we're going to be able to serve more customers, and we're going to be able to serve more customers better. And that's awesome. That's a win. Highly recommend. This is probably the best book I've ever read on like technology and like the history of technology. And it brings you all the way up to AI. But like I said, ChatGPT and all this stuff didn't even exist when this book came out either. Amazing book. And this is my 3rd recommendation. Again, I'm just going to give y'all some training material. You know, people talk about training the AI. This is AI. This is actual intelligence right here. This dude, Pedro Dominguez, has anybody read any of these books? Some of them, a couple of them. This book, The Master Algorithm. Amazing book. So my takeaway, again, don't believe anything I'm saying. I think y'all should read these resources for yourself. But this is a good primer pack for if you want to be a beast in AI. So this book, The Master Algorithm, why this book is important is he walks through the hypothesis. I think he works at the University of Washington or something like that. But he's a beast at machine learning. This guy's a beast. He walked you through and he explains even like old models, like he brings you through AI and machine learning. And then what he proposes, like, you hear people all the time, I'm going to build this agent's going to do everything, I'm going to build this thing, blah, blah, blah. People talk about that all the time. But he kind of dispels that notion as well. He kind of says that the master algorithm is actually going to be a combination of different things. And why that relates to now is people are trying to build AI agents and mini agents and all kind of different agents. But those agents, I don't believe that it's going to be one agent to rule them all. I think it's going to be a combination of things. And we see things like MCPs come out. How many people have played around MCPs yet? A couple of people. So I believe that it's going to be a bunch of different agents to do a bunch of different things that's going to be able to be that master agent, per se. This book is super good. Like I said, from a cybersecurity perspective, I like to do the research because if you're going to be doing web application testing, you're going to be building systems, you're going to be doing all that stuff, we need to be super aware of all the things related to this stuff. We need to be able to go into a room and speak intelligently on these topics. And I'm going to give you some resources in a little bit here so you can train your own models and things of that nature too. I think we need to have a little bit of primer, and then we can talk about this in an intelligent manner instead of just freaking out and being afraid of it. I think this is the best thing that's happened in my life so far. Don't tell my wife that. This is an amazing movie. How many people have seen this movie? It's kind of newer. If you haven't watched it, you got to check it out. Like all of the social things that people talk about, all of the things they talk about. People talk about how AI is going to kill everybody, and it actually uses real like machine learning terminology in here. I'm like, whoever's the consultant for this movie he got it right. You know, sometimes you see a movie like, oh, none of that stuff is right. But what this movie does well is it addresses all the ethical issues. A lot of ethical issues, and you're going to learn it. Great movie. Love this movie. The next movie, same thing. All the ethical issues. And when this movie came out, it was like, oh, this is total crazy. Right? But you hear people falling in love with agents and stuff now. This is happening for real. That's crazy, isn't it? This movie came out like 10 years ago or something. The other one about 10 years ago. But now this stuff is like becoming like real. So watch these movies because it addresses a lot of these things. So a lot of the talking points I hear sometimes, I say, hey man, you should just check that movie out, bro. Check that movie out, and it addresses many of those things. All right. So that's my 3 movie recommendations. I don't know what's coming up yet, but I don't know what's coming up next. Let's go. All right, cool. OpenAI. The reason I have respect for OpenAI, I know some people hate it, OpenAI, and there's all kind of different things. But what they did from a development perspective is they started the whole model as a service thing to me. Before this, there was a couple of there was some image stuff that you could do on Amazon. You could upload images. You could train some images, but you kind of have to be a little bit technical to do it. What I appreciate about OpenAI is they made machine learning and AI available to the masses. Totally crushed it. Anybody can do it. Even like have a little cell phone, you could talk to ChatGPT with it. They also made the APIs super easy. As a matter of fact, how you interact with most of these LLMs now, these large language models, is by the standard that OpenAI created. Everybody's copying them. I love what they're doing as far as that goes. And they're pushing the limits. Some people hate it. I'm a technologist. I love it. I can't lie. And Anthropic, to me, is the second big player in the space. They're approaching it a little bit different. How many people use Claude in here? A couple of Claude users. How many people use OpenAI in here? So Claude, check out Claude. If you haven't checked it out, it operates on a different, it's different, but I believe, and I'm going to show you later, I'm going to make y'all laugh, because I try every model. And that's something we do at ReliQuest. We built an internal system that I'll show you, and we love playing with every model at RQ. And I'll show you some of the stuff that we're doing in our mindset there. All right, so definitely, I love this image. I didn't know that they had these lab coats on here. But I got a little, this is AI generated, a little AI generated brother. Looking like a young, good looking me in the lab. So I encourage everybody, like, what I'm going to encourage you now is to, like, okay, cool. You use chat, you use Claude or whatever. I want y'all to experiment by using the models to build your own applications, because anything you do, you're going to be able to put that on steroids, essentially, with AI. I'll tell you one of my NSA stories, right? When I was at NSA, I've always, in my mind, I thought about automating stuff. I used to do Perl back in the day. How many Perl mongers in here? And they said if they chest too, they like, Perl. Right? So Perl was it's kind of like the predecessor for Python. In Perl, you could whip out some scripts, you could parse some logs. It was crazy. It was really good. And so at NSA, I was on the IP team at the time. It was the global network engineering team at NSA, and I was an enlisted Navy guy, but I was just a nerd, so I got my CCNP back in the day. And so with that, what I did is I started taking all the configurations, and I would use Perl to do all the configurations for me. And we would have to cut over legacy systems, but I said, oh, we can take the legacy configs, and then we can convert them into the new iOS commands for all your Cisco nerds. People know what I'm preaching to. Some people in here. Somebody heard me. So my Perl script was able to migrate all these new devices over, but there was people that worked with me that didn't want to use the scripts. And it was like, oh, the script might be wrong. I'm like, bro, you have a better chance of being wrong than the script. And that's 100% certain with many things that we do day to day. I actually trust machines and AI more than I trust humans. And I mean, that's probably a hot take, but that's the way I feel about it. I trust coding and humans more. So I want to encourage everybody to experiment. You're going to break some stuff. Some stuff's going to happen, but that's life. You could break stuff anyway. That's how I feel it. So we shouldn't be scared to move forward and break stuff. We also have to also think about security and the security implementations of it. But did y'all know, have y'all looked at the OWASP guide on LLMs? Have y'all looked at that? Man, I got like 2 or 3 people up in this congregation with that. Yeah, so check out OWASP guidance on LLMs. They got a top 10 for LLMs now. And it's pretty good. But the big news is we don't have to change what we do so much. We kind of like freak out many times when new things come out. We like freak out and we don't know what to do. So if you're a consultant, you're doing web app testing, or you're doing some kind of compliance, just refer to the name OWASP LLM guidance. Because another reason why I have all these, I say all these things, but that's why I bring in the authors, the experts, and all that stuff. Because it's just not me. It's like people that are way smarter than me have said these things. Hallucinations. This is crazy. What if you woke up and saw something like that in your face? That'd be crazy. You probably own something. You're probably hallucinating. So this is one of the big things that we that's talked about all the time. The newer the models are, the less they hallucinate. But when I tell people all the time, I say, look, man, how many times has somebody told you something that wasn't true? Or you saw a pen test report, but that did not exist in your environment. It could have been a typo, but I mean, is that a hallucination? Right? So what we found is the more you limit the AI on giving it a specific task, remember, don't try to build a master algorithm or master agent. Build an agent for a particular task, give it tons of context, and you can avoid hallucinations. Another thing you could also do is you can build agents to check the other agents. This is one of the ways that essentially what OpenAI and all these other people doing, they're building AIs to proof other things. They're building agents to check other agents. And that's something we need, y'all could implement in your environment. Also, the more context, the better, for sure. And that's going to prevent hallucinations or from happening as much. Context is king. So the context is king. So what we do, we build these agents, and like, say a ticket comes in, right? It comes into ServiceNow. But we have tooling to go to ServiceNow and pull the ticket from ServiceNow. If there's an IP address there, it can automatically go out and it can pull the context from VirusTotal or whatever, or anything like that. So that's what we're doing. We're building tooling around our LLMs or around this technology to go out and grab all the important context. And what that allows you to do, and I'm going to show you some tools and some code stuff that you can play with, like LangChain. How many LangChain people in here? Couple? Y'all got to check out LangChain. Because something like LangChain allows you to build tools. You can build a VirusTotal tool, again, IP domain lookups. So if there is an API, you can build a tool for that and pull in more context. Now, in some cases, we've shortened down the response time where it would take somebody 15, 20, an hour to do all the lookups. AI does that in a minute. Without a problem. Because it's just doing the AI calls and then doing the things. And sometimes you kind of hack the system. How we initially hack the system is my team that I'm with. We have a guy that y'all probably know named Jonathan Echevarria. He's a Tampa guy. He's probably talked here a couple of times. So Jonathan and I, we built a browser plugin that actually did DOM manipulation. I'm a Texan. That's a big word for a Texan. So DOM manipulation to pull data from the DOM and then inject that into an LLM and then do reporting. We did that probably like 3 months after ChatGPT, the 3.5 model dropped. And we knew instantly, like, oh man, if we just pull data from the APIs with this same technique, we're going to be able to get better reporting, and that's going to free up time for our analysts. So it's all about bringing in context. Some people, you probably heard of retrieval augmented generation, RAG. That's the terminology that people use for it. But RAG could be a number of things. And I'm going to show you how I built a digital version of myself with using some of these techniques. So RAG could be API, or RAG could be you're giving it data in some other way. It could just be just pulling information from a file or something. There is no silver bullet. Again, if anybody says that this one thing does everything, they probably lying. They're probably lying. So, a couple of things. What makes these new models so good? The new models actually improved because of human feedback. I don't think it's an AI versus human thing or these machines versus the human. I think in every step, the humans actually make the AI better. I need to do a time check. How long am I supposed to be talking? Somebody tell me. Because I can go forever. Y'all can probably tell. I'm gonna save some time for some questions. So human feedback. What happened is the AI would give some text, and then what you would do is the human would say, "Does the text look good or not?" Then the human would say, it would give some more text. Does that look good? Does this look good? And then so what happened over time? It actually made the machine better. And then over time, they built agents to actually imitate the human thing to upvote. So that's how we got these really awesome models now. Bias. Everybody has bias. So, I know I'm from Texas. I'm biased by Texas barbecue and brisket. So, My thing is I want everybody to start somewhere. Now, when I say start somewhere, you can't just idly sit by and wait for it not to happen, because this train is moving and AI is here to stay. I got a couple more resources that I want y'all to check out here that's coming up here shortly. So here's some tools. Has anybody used Olama in here? We got a couple people. So Olama is pretty awesome because on Olama, you can actually run your own models locally. So you're not submitting your data to OpenAI or any of these other things. You can actually run some pretty cool models with Olama. So I highly recommend you check that out. Anybody heard of Kaggle? Anybody use Kaggle? A couple of people. This is the best way at home, in my opinion, to learn how to create your own models. Now, those models are going to be something like couple of the introductory models that you'll create. There's like a manifest of the Titanic on there. And with that manifest, you do a machine, and the manifest has their ticket, how much they pay for the ticket, or whether they're a woman, the age, all that stuff. And it help, and you write a model to predict if they will survive the Titanic crash. That's an awesome model, right? Because what's crazy about it, you learn it's like a social experiment too. The people in first class were more likely to survive. A woman was more likely to survive. But what's cool about it is you get to build a model in Kaggle. It's one of the first models you'll build, and you get to build that model. Building a model is important for you to understand how these models work and how the models are trained. Another one is like a ice cream experiment. It's one of the first machine learning things you'll do is you'll predict how hot it is and how much ice cream the ice cream man is going to sell. Those are two pretty cool things, and Kaggle is free, and you can learn machine learning there. But I think that you don't need to do Kaggle to understand how to use chat. But I think the more you understand about the underlyings of how these models work and building your own models, you're going to pick up, it's going to be beneficial to you. And then when you're talking to ML team, if you're a cybersecurity person, you're going to understand what's popping. Hugging face. 4 minutes? All right, cool. Now I'm good. I'm in the zone now. I have 4 minutes, period. 3. You got to love it. Hugging Face. Check this out. Hugging Face has all these open source models. How many people have Hugging Face accounts? You got to check it out. LangChain. You have to check this out. This is pretty cool. There's a couple other competitors, but LangChain allows you to build tooling to build really complicated applications and all kinds of different agents. Cursor. Anybody use Cursor? I love me some Cursor. I mean, if you know, you know. Cursor allows you to essentially what they call vibe coding now. That's what people call vibe coding. But it actually, you can say, hey, Cursor, I want to build this application and I want it to do all this stuff. And you chat to it, and it's like, and I always do it like this. I'll tell you my workflow with Cursor. I want to build an application that does this, and the third. It's an AI application. I want to use OpenAI. And what I want you to do is I want it to be this, that, and the third. So you always give it a complete outcome of what you want done. And then you say, make a plan, Cursor. You're chatting to this thing. It's like VS Code. It will make a plan, and then if you like the plan, you code it. And it will code up, it's witchcraft. It's crazy. It's nuts. This is like taking one engineer and turning it into 20 engineers. 100%, I could not recommend this more. So if you probably use Copilot, Copilot is cool too, and Copilot is actually trying to copy off Cursor, because Cursor is ridiculous. You got to check this out. MCPs. MCPs are a way to build an agent that advertises itself to the model. And this is actually maybe from a movie too. Anybody know that reference? Yeah, that's my second favorite movie. Even though I'm a Tron Legacy fan, I can't lie. That's blasphemy. Suno. This is funny. So I want y'all to experiment everything. I got 1 minute. All right. Suno. Anybody use Suno? You can make music, AI music with Suno. I made a whole YouTube channel with AI. Me and my wife have a YouTube channel. We make music and we do videos for kids. I created a group, NCND. Check out the music on Spotify. It's all AI. I created a book, Spot the Wolf. AI generated Where's Waldo? I created all of my writings, all the speaks, all the talks I ever did into an agent. And I can just ask the agent, hey, write me a talk. All right, I'm almost done. So internally, we built our own ChatGTP thing internally at RQ. We also built a pipeline that you can actually test and A/B test all the different models. You don't have to know it all. Don't wait to start. No one is going to anoint you. Nobody's going to make you an expert. You got to go out there and get it. Leave it all on the field. When I die, I done did it all. I'm leaving it on the field. Focus on outcomes. We're almost done. G.I. Joe. Now you know, and let's go. That's it.